5 skills that you need to know if you want to be the best diver possible. So the first skill is clearing your mask. And you got it right, BWRAF is your compass. Now I know a lot of people get nervous about the compass. Signals, hand signals. Buoyancy. Neutral buoyancy is vital to ensure you're an eco-conscious diver. Just as a quick side note, I use a lot of footage of my dad in this video from when he came to visit me when I lived in Africa. I absolutely love scuba diving with my dad. It's all in good fun, and he likes to tease me a lot, and he likes to act the role of bad student more than I think he actually is. I mean, I think it's all a joke. I was a diving instructor for 8 years. These are the skills you should be practicing and making sure you have mastered to be the best, safest, and most eco-conscious diver. So the first skill is clearing your mask. Guys, quick recap. You press the top of your mask, look towards the surface, and exhale through your nose. You want to be so comfortable with this that for any leak or foggy mask, you're able to just clear it without thinking. I now sometimes just blow out through my nose whenever I'm diving, or even free diving, to get that annoying water out of my mask. It's gonna come in handy whether you're 25 meters underwater or on the surface snorkeling. So get practicing, and if you really hate salt water in your eyes like I do, just keep your eyes closed. There's no shame in it. Close your eyes, exhale through your nose, wait till the water's out, and then give it a little peek. The second skill that you need to be practicing regularly and making sure you have mastered is your pre-dive safety check. Do you guys remember what it is? Pause the video and write it down below. And you got it right, BWRAF. These are the 5 things that you need to check before every single dive. The next skill that you should be practicing is your compass. Now I know a lot of people get nervous about the compass, but you can get a digital compass or an old school traditional compass. The compass is really not that complicated, and I might do a video about how it all works. But a quick little rundown: when you look at your compass, north is always going to point north. So it's a good idea of taking note of what heading you're going from the dive boat when you first plan to hop in. Then you rearrange yourself to point in the direction you want to be going. The spinny thing at the top can now be swiveled around until north is aligned with north. Now you have set your heading. You can start swimming in this direction, and once you reach the end of your dive in that certain direction, whether you decide it's 10 minutes or 200 kick cycles or whichever way you're deciding to go, or if you have reached the turnaround point, which is 120 bar or 100 bar, you can now spin yourself around until now south is in the north section, and you can swim back. You know you've done a 180-degree turn, and you should be headed towards the boat. Now, of course, a compass is not always 100% accurate if you are swimming in a current where the current can push you to one side or another. The next skill is signals, hand signals. So we all know the okay, something's wrong with my ears, want to go up, want to go down. But what if you want to communicate something a bit more particular? So whether it's a cramp in your leg, whether it is you are feeling nitrogen narcosis from going a little bit too deep and feeling funny, whether there's a shark or a turtle or a sea lion. I would do this one probably for a manta ray, usually dolphins. I think you might have seen this one. So let me know if you know what I just said. I always like to joke that this is the signal for if there's a shark, meaning I go in the middle and all my students go around the outside with their tanks facing outwards, but those are some little jokes. But if you get really comfortable diving with your dive buddy, you're able to communicate underwater a lot more. For example, me and my best friend, we were diving together, we looked at each other and we just said, and we both knew for lunch we're getting sushi train. And probably the most important skill that you need to practice, and you can practice this in a pool or in the ocean, is your buoyancy. Neutral buoyancy is vital to ensure you're an eco-conscious diver, meaning you're not hitting coral or hitting yourself on coral, which can also be really uncomfortable. Check out the video about what you should actually be afraid of when you're scuba diving. Hint, coral is one of the things. You want to make sure you're not hurting the Great Barrier Reef or the environment where you're diving by needlessly crashing into coral. The amount of students I have picked up off of coral or other places that they were about to hit and destroy the extremely delicate structures, I don't even want to mention. So in the pool, make sure you work on your buoyancy. The best way to do this is to ensure you have the correct amount of weight, which is again, floating with a normal lung of air, eye level on the surface, and then when you go down, breathing really slowly and deliberately. So be aware of how every breath in and every breath out actually changes your position in the water column. Eventually, you can actually master your buoyancy to the point where you never have to touch your inflator or deflator hose. You're basically controlling your position in the water as you're swimming with just your lungs. That's why I always recommend doing the peak performance buoyancy as part of your advanced course. That's why I've put so much work into teaching my students to have good buoyancy. That's why I recommend get your dive gear and go to a pool even if you can't get into the ocean. Learning buoyancy is something that takes time. Some people are perfect at it from the start, but for me, I know it definitely improved the more I dived. So the more you dive, the better your buoyancy will be, but be mindful of it. Until you have excellent buoyancy, don't take a camera underwater. Don't take something that will distract you and potentially end up in you hurting coral or other wildlife. Our oceans are extremely fragile and we need to protect them. So be a good eco-conscious diver, practice these skills, and let me know how it goes.